visited for the series is an incredible pyramid in Mexico at a place called Cholula. It is in fact the largest pyramid in the world. Very few people.
Cholula is near Puebla, which is east of Mexico City, a couple of hours east, and it has the largest pyramid in the world. Bigger.
The camera glides over a golden church perched on a quiet green hill at sunrise. Bells echo faintly across Puebla Valley. Most people see peace here, a place of prayer and light. But beneath this church lies something far older, something built long before Christ ever walked the earth. For 2,000 years, the earth has hidden a secret so massive it reshaped what we thought we knew about ancient civilization. Archaeologists now know this is not a hill at all. It's a pyramid, the largest structure ever built by human hands. And deep inside its tunnels, something has begun to stir. When they first drilled beneath the soil, they weren't looking for history. They were laying foundations for a hospital. But what they uncovered instead would expose one of the greatest mysteries buried in the Americas. Camera slowly descends through the earth into darkness. Something waits below, and it's been waiting for us to find it. The scene fades from sunrise to an old black and white photo, workers digging, shovels striking stone. At first, they thought it was a mistake.
Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more awe-inspiring stories of faith, survival, and miracles.
The hill of Cholula was famous among locals. A gentle mound where children played, where farmers planted corn, and where pilgrims climbed to pray at the Church of Our Lady of Remedies. No one imagined the earth beneath them was man-made. Then, in 1910, a team of engineers digging foundations hit something strange. A wall of hardened adobe bricks laid in perfect geometric rows. Not nature. Design, intention, civilization. Whispers spread through the town. Some said the hill was sacred. Others feared it was cursed. When excavations deepened, they uncovered corridors that twisted through the earth like veins. Chambers painted in faded reds and yellows. Murals of serpents and water. Each discovery pushed back the clock. The deeper they dug, the older the structure became. Layers upon layers, each civilization building over the last. Olmec, Toltec, Chichimeca, as if time itself had been buried alive. The lights of miners' lamps flicker across walls of mud and pigment. And that's when they realized the truth. They weren't just inside a pyramid. They were inside history's greatest secret, one built to hide something far greater than stone.
Cut to black. A single question appears. What were they trying to protect beneath the mountain? The scene bursts into color, ancient Cholula reconstructed in digital animation. The camera soars above a sprawling city, alive with movement. Traders shouting, smoke rising, drums echoing from grand plazas. 2,000 years ago, this was no small town. Cholula was the beating heart of Mesoamerica, a metropolis of more than 100,000 souls, larger than most cities in Europe at the time. At its center stood the pyramid, gleaming white and gold under the sun. Priests climbed its stairways draped in feathers and jade. Incense curled through the air, carrying prayers to Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, god of wind, wisdom, and rebirth. The people believed the pyramid was alive, its body the earth, its summit the sky. Offerings of maize, jade, and obsidian glimmered on altars, but their faith demanded more. Beneath the courtyards, archaeologists later found graves, human sacrifices meant to keep the balance between heaven and earth. Tiny bones wrapped in pottery, children offered to the rain god Tlaloc so that crops might grow. To them, it wasn't cruelty, it was duty, the price of life itself. The drums fade, replaced by silence. And beneath that silence, the earth still remembers. Each burial, each prayer, sealed into the clay like echoes of devotion. Camera slowly pans toward the modern church on top of the hill. Centuries later, another faith would rise here, but it would rest upon the bones of the first. The shot tightens on the exposed adobe walls, cracked but still standing after 2 millennia. No iron, no concrete, just earth, straw, and sun. Yet this pyramid has survived earthquakes, storms, and centuries of silence. Archaeologists were stunned. How could such primitive materials build something stronger than stone? The answer lay in the engineering. The builders layered bricks diagonally, each section shifting weight like muscle fibers. The structure flexed when the earth shook, not breaking, but breathing. It was ancient shock absorption, a design modern architects still study today. Even more astonishing was its precision. The pyramid's eastern staircase aligns perfectly with the rising sun on the spring equinox. At dawn, light once struck the altar at its summit, the very spot where offerings burned to the heavens. They weren't just builders, they were scientists, astronomers, engineers of faith. Every brick carried meaning, every angle a message to the stars. And perhaps that's why modern instruments now detect strange resonance inside the tunnels, low vibrations, deep and rhythmic, as if the structure itself still hums with energy. The camera vibrates softly, dust trembles off ancient walls. Some call it coincidence, others say the pyramid was designed to speak. Fade to black. If that's true, then what exactly is it trying to say? The screen flickers to a storm, 1519. The Spanish arrive under Hernán Cortés. Thousands of armored men march into Cholula, greeted by priests and merchants unaware of what was coming. Within hours, the city of temples became a field of fire.
Eyewitnesses wrote that the streets ran red. Smoke rose over the pyramid as the sound of drums turned to screams. Over 6,000 were slaughtered in a single day, men, women, and children, all in the courtyards where their ancestors once prayed. When the blood dried, the conquerors built a church right on top of the pyramid. They called it Nuestra Señora de los Remedios, Our Lady of Remedies. For them, it was divine triumph. For history, it was irony carved in stone, Christianity literally rising over a buried God. Camera tilts upward, from bones in the soil to the golden dome of the church above. For centuries, that dome shined proudly over a city that had forgotten what it stood upon. The locals believed it was just a hill, a miracle of nature. They didn't know the hill itself was man-made, its foundations resting on rituals, faith, and sacrifice. But history has a way of whispering through the ground, and when modern archaeologists returned to Cholula centuries later, those whispers became impossible to ignore. The church bells echo faintly, overlapping with a rumble from beneath. Something ancient was waking again. Cut to sepia-toned photographs from the early 1900s, men with lanterns and pickaxes entering narrow tunnels carved through the hillside. When archaeologist Ignacio Marquina began his excavation in 1931, few believed there was a pyramid beneath the soil. Locals laughed, saying the hill was just a legend. But as Marquina's team tunneled deeper, skepticism turned to awe. They found walls of patterned adobe bricks, floors coated in lime plaster, and murals still breathing with color. Snakes, maize, and flowing water, all symbols of life. Each torchlight revealed something older, more deliberate, more astonishing. Tunnels stretched for miles, chambers branched into darkness. One wrong move and the earth could collapse, yet they pressed on. Slowly, they mapped a structure larger than anything built in Egypt or Mesopotamia. 4.5 million cubic meters of clay and devotion. It wasn't built at once. It evolved, rebuilt by generations, each layer honoring a god or an empire that rose and fell. The pyramid had become a living record of humanity. Marquina's flashlight sweeps across an altar where child bones rest in tiny pots. The realization was chilling. This wasn't just a monument, it was a covenant written in sacrifice. The light flickers. A deep hum vibrates through the tunnel walls. And then the instruments began to detect something that no one expected. Movement, deep within the sealed chambers, like the earth itself was breathing. Transition to present day. Scientists lower instruments through narrow shafts, LED lights glowing against ancient mud walls. Modern technology has transformed Cholula from myth to living science. Using LiDAR and ground-penetrating radar, researchers uncovered something extraordinary. Chambers, corridors, and geometric patterns unseen by any human for over 2,000 years. But what startled them most wasn't what they saw, it was what they heard. When engineers tested sound inside the pyramid, the air responded. Low frequencies bounced through the tunnels, echoing for nearly 12 seconds. A resonance so pure it behaved like a musical instrument carved into the earth. The pyramid was alive with vibration. Some say the builders tuned it deliberately, aligning it with the cycles of the stars and the rhythm of the planet. But others believe it's coincidence, a trick of shape and stone. But when recordings were analyzed, the frequencies matched tones found in Mayan flutes and Aztec chants.
Footage shows scientists standing in silence, listening as the ground hums beneath their feet. They called it the pyramid that sings. And yet, the data revealed something stranger still. One hidden chamber beneath the western platform resonated differently, as if something inside was answering back. The hum deepens, lights flicker. It wasn't just echoing, it was responding. Fade in, a slow aerial shot of the volcano Popocatépetl, breathing smoke across the horizon. Below it, the pyramid sleeps beneath the golden church. Locals whisper that the two are connected, the mountain of fire and the mountain of earth. Legends say a serpent god once descended from the heavens and entered the pyramid to sleep, promising to awaken when the world was ready to remember. For centuries, these were only stories, but when the resonance tests began, strange correlations emerged. Seismic sensors registered pulses, subtle vibrations inside Cholula that mirrored the heartbeat of the nearby volcano. No explosion, no tectonic shift, just rhythm. Sync. Some scientists dismissed it as coincidence. Others felt the line between science and myth beginning to blur. The builders had aligned their temple with celestial cycles, solar equinoxes, and maybe even the volcano's breath itself. Then came the murals, newly uncovered paintings showing floods, storms, and droughts, almost prophetic in their warnings. A civilization begging the heavens to restore balance. The camera glides along a wall where red spirals and serpents twist together like fire and wind. It was more than worship. It was communication, a dialogue between humanity and creation itself. And as modern instruments recorded the low hum beneath the church, many wondered, had that dialogue just begun again? The sound grows louder, almost like breathing. If the pyramid was meant to awaken,
What happens when it finally does? The scene darkens. A robotic probe descends into a narrow passage, its light slicing through centuries of dust. Beneath the western platform, radar revealed an oval chamber ringed by smaller hollows. For months, scientists debated its origin, natural cavity or deliberate design. Then a micro-drill brought up fragments that changed everything. Powdered hematite, traces of cinnabar and mica, minerals not native to the region. Someone had imported them, sealed them inside this hidden space. But why? When the probe's camera finally reached the chamber, its lens caught a reflection, a disk of polished obsidian buried in clay. Its surface was mirror-smooth, etched with spirals and stars. Under a laser beam, the reflection scattered into perfect concentric rings, the same geometry as the pyramid itself. Some called it an astronomical device, others a spiritual key. Either way, it confirmed a truth long suspected. The builders encoded knowledge in form, in sound, and in light. The hum deepens through the tunnels, steady as a heartbeat. And as researchers replayed the resonance, they realized the frequencies amplified when aimed at this chamber. The camera shakes slightly, dust falls from the ceiling. It was as if the pyramid was designed to awaken something, not to bury it. Fade in, twilight over Cholula. The golden church glows like a beacon while shadows stretch across the valley. For centuries, people thought the story had ended here, a church on a hill, faith built upon faith. But now scientists, historians, and dreamers are beginning to realize that this place may not be a monument to the past, but a message to the future. Every artifact, every mural, every sound points to one truth. The builders were trying to tell us something about balance, about time, about remembering where creation meets the Creator. As the hum of the pyramid grows stronger, instruments record subtle shifts, magnetic fields fluctuating deep beneath the chamber, as if the earth itself is whispering. The camera pans slowly from the church bells ringing above to the tunnels below, where light fades into darkness. Maybe the pyramid was never meant to be found. Maybe it was waiting for a moment when humanity would finally be ready to understand. The hum stops. Silence. Then a single vibration ripples through the ground.